Part 1. Beneath the Eastern Sea. Long before great cities covered the land, long before mighty emperors ruled China, people believed that the sea was alive. Every wave carried a spirit, every current followed an ancient path, every storm had a master. The fishermen who sailed across the Eastern Sea never considered themselves alone. As the morning mist drifted over the water, they would quietly lower their heads. Some offered fresh fruit. Others burned a single stick of incense before leaving the shore. Many whispered silent prayers that no one else could hear. Not because they feared the sea, but because they respected the one who ruled beneath it. Far below the surface, deeper than sunlight could ever reach, there existed a kingdom hidden from the eyes of mankind. No map had ever marked its location. No sailor had ever found its gates. Even those who crossed the same waters their entire lives never realized what lay beneath them. There, surrounded by endless blue, stood the crystal palace of the Dragon King. Its walls were carved from flawless white jade. Its towering columns were shaped from giant branches of crimson coral. Pearls larger than lanterns illuminated every hall with a gentle silver glow. The floors reflected the light like polished glass. Golden carp swam peacefully through open chambers. Bright jellyfish floated like living lanterns. Ancient sea turtles stood watch beside enormous gates decorated with dragons of pure gold. The palace was silent, not empty, but peaceful. Every creature moved with calm purpose. No voice was raised, no hurried footsteps echoed through the halls. Only the quiet rhythm of the ocean surrounded the kingdom. At the very heart of the palace stood a magnificent throne. Upon it rested the ruler of the Eastern Sea, the Dragon King. His body stretched like a river through the great hall. His emerald scales shimmered with soft blue light. Golden antlers rose proudly above his wise eyes. Long silver whiskers drifted gently through the water with every movement. Unlike the dragons of many distant lands, he was not feared as a monster. He was a guardian, the keeper of rain, the master of rivers, the protector of fishermen, the ruler of tides. For thousands of years, he had watched over the balance between sea and sky, and although humans rarely saw him, his decisions shaped their lives every single day. Yet on this peaceful morning, something unexpected was about to disturb the quiet kingdom beneath the sea. A single fishing boat, drifting farther from shore than ever before, would soon become part of a legend remembered for centuries. On the eastern coast lived a fisherman named Liang. He was not rich. His small wooden boat was old, and his fishing nets had been repaired so many times that almost every knot was different. Yet Liang never complained. The sea had fed his family for generations, and he believed every sunrise upon the water was a gift. Each morning before dawn, he would untie his boat and quietly row into the mist. He always greeted the sea with the same words, "May today be peaceful." Then he would cast his nets and wait. Most days were ordinary. Sometimes he caught enough fish to feed the village. Sometimes he returned with almost nothing. But he never blamed the sea. "The ocean gives when it wishes," his father had once told him. "And when it remains silent, we must be patient." Liang never forgot those words. One autumn morning, the sea was strangely calm. Not a single bird circled above the waves. The wind had disappeared. Even the water looked as smooth as polished jade. The silence felt unusual, almost as if the world itself was waiting. Liang cast his net once. Nothing. He moved farther from shore. Again, nothing. The hours passed, yet his boat drifted into waters he had never seen before. The familiar coastline slowly vanished behind a curtain of silver mist. He should have turned back. Every fisherman knew the old stories. There were places where no one should sail, places where strange currents appeared without warning, places where the sea seems to hide its greatest secrets. But Liang noticed none of this. his attention was drawn to something shining beneath the water. At first he believed it was sunlight. Then he realized the light came from below. It glowed with a soft blue color. Curious, he leaned over the side of his boat. The light grew brighter. Far beneath the waves, something enormous slowly moved through the darkness. For a brief moment, Liang thought it was a whale. Then the shape turned. A pair of golden eyes opened. They were larger than the sails of his little boat. The water around him became perfectly still. No waves, no wind, no sound. The great eyes watched him without anger, without fear, almost with curiosity. Then, as silently as it had appeared, the enormous shadow began to descend into the deep. The blue light followed it. Liang should have rowed home immediately. Every instinct told him to leave. Instead, he picked up his oars and followed the disappearing light into the unknown. Liang rowed slowly, never taking his eyes off the fading blue light. The sea remained perfectly calm. His boat no longer rocked with the waves. It seemed to glide across the water, as though carried by an unseen hand. The mist thickened around him. Soon the world behind him disappeared completely. There was no shoreline, no sky, only endless white silence. Then, without warning, the blue light stopped. The water beneath the boat became so clear that Liang could see deep into the ocean. Far below, the enormous shape appeared once more. It circled slowly beneath him. Its emerald scales reflected streams of silver light. Long golden whiskers drifted gracefully through the water. It was a dragon. Not the terrifying monster from frightening tales, but a creature of impossible beauty. The dragon looked toward Liang one last time. Then it swam downward. As it descended, something extraordinary happened. The sea itself began to open. The water did not part with violence. Instead, it flowed gently to each side, revealing a wide path that reached into the depths. Rows of glowing pearls illuminated the passage. Their soft light stretched farther than Liang could see. At the end of the path stood two enormous gates. They were carved from white jade and decorated with dragons whose eyes were made of polished gold. Ancient symbols covered every surface. Liang could not read them, yet somehow they felt familiar, as though they had been waiting for him all along. The great dragon approached the gates. Without a single sound, they slowly opened. A warm, golden light poured into the sea. Beyond the entrance stood a city unlike anything Liang had ever imagined. Towering palaces rose from forests of coral. Crystal bridges connected graceful towers. Pearls glowed like stars beneath the water. Schools of brilliant fish swam peacefully through wide streets. Sea turtles, larger than carts, wandered between magnificent gardens filled with swaying sea flowers. Everything shimmered with quiet light. Everything felt calm, peaceful, timeless. Liang forgot to breathe. He had heard stories about the Dragon King's palace since he was a child. No one had ever believed they were real. Yet now, he was looking directly at it. The dragon entered the city without turning back. For several long moments, Liang remained frozen in his little boat. He knew that if he crossed those gates, nothing in his life would ever be the same again. Liang took a slow breath. Then, with trembling hands, he guided his little boat through the great jade gates. The moment he crossed the entrance, the sea around him changed. The water no longer felt cold. It was warm and clear, filled with countless rays of gentle golden light. The city stretched farther than he could imagine. Towering palaces rose like mountains of crystal. Bridges of polished jade arched above quiet canals where colorful fish glided without fear. Gardens of coral bloomed in every shade of red, blue, and gold. Pearls the size of melons hung from graceful arches, lighting the streets with a soft silver glow. Everywhere Liang looked, he saw life. Elegant seahorses carried messages between the palace towers. Ancient turtles walked slowly along stone paths. Tiny shrimp carefully swept the marble floors with fans made from delicate shells. Even the smallest creatures seemed to have an important purpose. Yet no one spoke. The entire city moved in peaceful silence. Only the quiet sound of flowing water surrounded him. As Liang drifted farther into the city, hundreds of curious eyes turned toward him. Fish paused in the water. Young dragons peeked from behind coral pillars. Gentle dolphins circled his little boat before disappearing into the blue. Few of them had ever seen a human. Yet none showed fear, only quiet curiosity. At the center of the city stood the greatest building of all, the Crystal Palace. Its walls sparkled like frozen moonlight. Its roof was covered with shining golden scales that reflected waves of light across the entire kingdom. Two enormous dragons carved from white jade guarded the entrance. Their eyes seemed almost alive. Liang could not look away. Suddenly, the great doors opened. From within the palace came a calm, powerful voice. "Welcome, Liang." The fisherman froze. He had never spoken his name. No one beneath the sea should have known who he was. The voice came again. "Do not be afraid. We have been expecting you." Slowly, Liang stepped from his boat onto the crystal floor. His heart beat faster with every step. He did not know why he had been brought here. He did not know what awaited him inside. But deep within his heart, he felt that this meeting had been written long before he was ever born. The great hall was unlike anything Liang had ever imagined. Its ceiling disappeared into shimmering blue light. Hundreds of crystal columns rose like ancient trees, each carved from a single piece of flawless jade. Streams of water flowed gently through the hall, carrying glowing lotus flowers that never faded. At the far end stood a magnificent throne. It had been carved from white jade and decorated with gold, pearls, and polished coral. Upon it rested the Dragon King. He was even more magnificent than Liang had believed. His emerald scales shimmered like sunlight dancing upon a quiet sea. Golden antlers crowned his noble head. Long silver whiskers drifted gracefully through the water. His ancient eyes held neither anger nor pride, only wisdom. Liang lowered himself to one knee. "My king," he whispered, "I did not mean to enter your kingdom." The Dragon King smiled gently. "You entered because you were invited." Liang slowly looked up. "Invited?" The Dragon King nodded. "For many years I have watched the people who live beside my sea. I know every fisherman. I know every sailor. I know every child who thanks the ocean for its gifts." He paused. "But I also know those who take without gratitude." Liang listened in silence. "You," the Dragon King continued, "have always shown respect. You never cursed the sea during poor seasons. You never caught more fish than your family needed. You never forgot to thank the waters before returning home." Liang felt his face grow warm. "I only follow the lessons my father taught me." "And that," said the Dragon King, "is why you are here." The great hall became quiet once more. Then the Dragon King slowly raised one powerful claw. A beam of golden light appeared in the center of the chamber. Within it floated a single, glowing pearl. It was unlike any jewel Liang had ever seen. Its soft light seemed alive. As it gently turned, tiny clouds formed inside it. Rain, lightning, rivers, even distant mountains. It was as though the entire world lived within the pearl. Liang could not take his eyes away. "What is it?" he asked softly. The Dragon King's expression became serious. "This," he said, "is the heart pearl of the Eastern Sea, and its power must never fall into the wrong hands." The glowing pearl floated silently between them. Its light was soft, yet powerful enough to illuminate the entire hall. As Liang watched, tiny clouds drifted inside its crystal depths. Rain fell over distant mountains. Rivers wound across green valleys. Lightning flashed for only a heartbeat before disappearing again. It was as though the seasons themselves lived within the pearl. "The heart pearl," the Dragon King said, "is older than any kingdom upon the earth. It was born when heaven first blessed the seas with rain. For thousands of years, it has kept the balance between ocean, river, cloud, and sky." Liang stared in amazement. "So, this is what brings the rain?" The Dragon King slowly nodded. "When the pearl shines brightly, the rivers remain full. The fields become green. The forests grow. The people prosper." His voice became quieter. "But when its light weakens, the rains become uncertain. The rivers shrink, and hunger follows." Liang felt a chill, despite the warmth of the palace. "If it is so precious, why show it to me?" The Dragon King looked directly into his eyes. "Because a shadow has begun to move across the sea. For many months I have felt its presence. It hides in the deepest waters. It waits. It seeks only one thing, the heart pearl." The great hall fell silent. Even the glowing fish beyond the crystal windows seemed to stop moving. Liang swallowed. "Can it be stopped?" "It must be." The Dragon King lowered his great head. "But there are ancient laws that even I cannot break. I cannot leave my kingdom while the pearl remains here. And if I take the pearl with me, the balance of the seas will be lost." For the first time, Liang saw sadness in the Dragon King's ancient eyes. "I have protected this kingdom for countless centuries. But now, I may need the help of a single human." Liang's heart began to race. He had come searching for fish. Instead, he had become part of a destiny far greater than he could ever have imagined. Liang remained silent. He was only a fisherman. He had never carried a sword. He had never fought a battle. He knew nothing of ancient magic or powerful spirits. "My king," he said at last, "I am not a hero." The Dragon King smiled. "That is exactly why you were chosen." Liang looked up in surprise. "The proud seek glory," the Dragon King continued. "The greedy seek treasure. The powerful seek victory. But the humble seek only to do what is right." For a long moment, neither of them spoke. The soft light of the heart pearl filled the great hall. Finally, the Dragon King raised one of his great claws. The glowing pearl drifted slowly toward Liang. Instinctively, the fisherman reached out his hands. The moment his fingers touched the pearl, warmth spread through his body. He did not feel stronger. He did not feel more powerful. Instead, he felt peaceful, as though every river, every cloud, and every falling raindrop were gently breathing together. The Dragon King nodded with quiet satisfaction. "The pearl has accepted you." Liang stared at the glowing sphere resting in his hands. It feels alive." "It is. For countless ages, it has chosen those whose hearts remain free of greed." The Dragon King's voice suddenly became more serious. "But listen carefully. You must never use its power for yourself. Never seek wealth. Never seek revenge. And never allow pride to enter your heart. If you do, the pearl will lose its light." Liang bowed his head. "I understand." At that very moment, a deep rumble echoed through the Crystal Palace. The jade columns trembled. The glowing fish scattered in every direction. Outside the great windows, the peaceful sea suddenly became dark. the blue water turned almost black. A cold current swept through the kingdom. Even the light of the heart pearl flickered for an instant. The Dragon King slowly rose from his throne. His ancient eyes narrowed toward the darkness beyond the palace. He has found us. Far beyond the palace gates, two enormous crimson eyes opened within the black water, watching, waiting, growing closer. The palace gods rushed toward the gates. Young dragons circled above the crystal towers. The peaceful kingdom beneath the sea had fallen completely silent. Only the distant rumble echoed through the dark water. Liang stepped beside the Dragon King, still holding the heart pearl close to his chest. "What is coming?" he whispered. The Dragon King kept his eyes fixed upon the darkness. An ancient enemy, older than many kingdoms, older than the oldest stories told by men. Long ago, before rivers found their paths and before the first villages stood upon the earth, another dragon ruled these waters. His name had been forgotten by nearly everyone. Only the oldest spirits still remembered him. He had once desired dominion over every ocean, every river, and every cloud. He believed all water should obey only his command. But greed slowly consumed his heart. He no longer wished to protect the world. He wished to control it, to stop the rains whenever he pleased, to flood entire kingdoms, to force every living creature to bow before him. When the ancient dragons gathered, they stripped him of his power. The heart pearl refused to answer his call. Defeated, he disappeared into the deepest trench beneath the eastern sea. For thousands of years, he waited, feeding upon darkness, growing stronger, waiting for the moment the heart pearl might finally leave the Dragon King's protection. And now, the Dragon King said quietly, "That moment has come." As if answering his words, the sea outside suddenly trembled. A deafening roar rolled through the water. The palace windows shook. Far beyond the gates, an enormous shape slowly emerged from the darkness. Its scales were black as midnight. Its eyes burned crimson. Long broken horns curved backward like jagged blades. Every movement filled the sea with swirling shadows. The creature stopped before the crystal palace. Then it smiled. A cold, terrible smile. Its voice echoed through the ocean like distant thunder. "At last. The heart pearl has found a new keeper, and now I shall claim it." The black dragon remained motionless outside the palace. His crimson eyes never left the glowing pearl in Liang's hands. "You cannot protect it," the dark dragon said with a low laugh. "You are only a man." His voice rolled through the sea like distant thunder. Many of the younger dragons stepped back in fear, but the Dragon King did not move. "You were once our brother," he said calmly. "You could have ruled beside us." The black dragon's eyes narrowed. "I was meant to rule above you. The oceans should have belonged to me. The rivers, the storms, the rain, everything." The Dragon King sighed. "It was never power you desired. It was control." For a moment, neither dragon spoke. Only the slow current drifted between them. Then the black dragon smiled once again. "I will make you an offer." He looked directly at Liang. "Give me the heart pearl. I will spare your life. I will fill your fishing nets forever. Your family will never know hunger. You will become the richest man upon the coast." Liang tightened his grip on the glowing pearl. For a brief moment, he thought of his small house, his worn fishing boat, the long winters, the empty nets, the difficult years. The offer was tempting, very tempting. Then he remembered his father's words, "The sea gives only to those who respect it." Liang slowly shook his head. "The pearl does not belong to me. It belongs to the world." The smile disappeared from the black dragon's face. His crimson eyes darkened with fury. "So be it." With a mighty roar, he lunged toward the palace. The sea exploded into violent currents. The crystal towers trembled. Young dragons rushed to defend their king. At that very instant, the heart pearl began to shine brighter than ever before. Its golden light spread across the palace, across the sea, across the darkness itself. And for the first time in countless centuries, the black dragon stopped. Not because he had been defeated, but because the light reminded him of the dragon he had once been. The golden light spread across the crystal palace like the first rays of dawn. It reached every tower, every garden, every quiet corner beneath the sea. The black dragon closed his eyes. For a single moment, the anger that had lived within him for thousands of years seemed to fade. He remembered a different time, a time before pride, before greed, before darkness had taken his heart. The Dragon King stepped forward. "There is still a path back," he said. "You were once a guardian. You do not have to remain our enemy." The sea became perfectly still. Liang held the heart pearl close, saying nothing. He understood that this choice belonged to the dragon alone. The black dragon slowly opened his eyes. For an instant, the crimson fire within them softened. Then it disappeared. His face hardened once more. "No. I have walked in darkness for too long." With one powerful sweep of his tail, he turned away from the palace. The shadows gathered around him. His enormous body slowly vanished into the deepest waters of the Eastern Sea. No one followed. The Dragon King watched until the darkness was gone. "He will return one day," he said quietly, "but not today." The palace slowly came back to life. The young dragons emerged from their hiding places. The fish returned to the crystal gardens. The gentle currents once again flowed peacefully through the kingdom. The Dragon King turned toward Liang. "You have protected more than a treasure. You have protected the balance of the world." He carefully took the heart pearl back into his own hands. The glowing sphere rose into the air and returned to its place above the golden pedestal. At once, the light became calm again. Rain began to fall upon the distant mountains. Rivers filled their ancient paths. The Dragon King smiled. "It is time for you to go home." A gentle current carried Liang back to his small fishing boat. When he looked behind him, the crystal palace was already fading into blue light. Moments later, it had disappeared completely. Only the endless sea remained. When Liang finally reached the shore, no one believed his story. But from that day forward, whenever dark clouds gathered over the Eastern Sea, he would simply smile. For he knew that somewhere beneath the waves, the Dragon King was still watching over the world. Epilogue. The sea remembers. Even today, along the eastern shores of China, old fishermen still follow traditions that have been passed from one generation to the next. Before the first net touches the water, before the first oar breaks the morning silence, many still pause for a quiet moment. Some bow toward the sea, some whisper a simple prayer, others leave a small offering upon the shore. Not because they expect a miracle, but because they remember. They remember that the sea is more than water. It is a living world, filled with mysteries no map can ever reveal. The elders still tell their grandchildren that somewhere beneath the endless waves, beyond the reach of sunlight, the Crystal Palace continues to stand. Its jade walls remain untouched by time. Its coral gardens still bloom. Its halls are still illuminated by countless glowing pearls. And upon his ancient throne, the Dragon King still watches over the balance of rivers, rain, and sea. Some say that on calm nights, when the moon shines brightly across the water, a faint golden light can sometimes be seen beneath the waves. Most people believe it is only the reflection of the moon, but the oldest fishermen simply smile. They know another story. They say the heart pearl still shines within the crystal palace. Its gentle light continues to guide the tides, fill the rivers, and carry rain to the fields. And somewhere, hidden within the deepest waters, the black dragon still waits, not with the fury he once carried, but with the memory of the light he almost chose to follow. Perhaps one day, even the darkest heart may find its way home. That is why the ancient legends teach us that true strength is never measured by power alone. It is measured by wisdom, by patience, by kindness, and by the courage to choose what is right, even when no one is watching. So the next time you stand beside the sea, listen carefully to the gentle rhythm of the waves, to the whisper of the wind, to the quiet silence between them. For who can truly say that the Dragon King is not still there, watching over the endless waters, as he has done for thousands of years?
Every land has its dragons, every culture has its legends, and every legend hides a piece of history. Join us next time as we travel to another corner of the world to uncover the next dragon legend.